What's up, gamers? This is another Godforge video. We are on the precipice of the third and final wave of the alpha. We've got some patch notes to go over. What's changed basically from Alpha 2 to Alpha 3. I'm Brad with BradBodGaming. Let's go. All right, so here are the patch notes. Now they look a little different than maybe you'll see them, but I put them into a little PowerPoint into sections so we can be a little more efficient. I highlighted the areas that I thought were most important that I could get through in 5 minutes, so we can get you back to the game. So our final wave, this is our final wave of alpha, like I've said. Now I wanted to highlight that they provide the feedback provided by the community has been essential in helping crafting the best possible experience, and I do think that they have taken to heart a lot of the feedback that we've gotten, if not all of it, and made as many changes as they could in the short amount of time. Again, we've only had a gap of 10 days between Alpha 2 and Alpha 3, and they made a lot of changes. And a lot of the changes that you might be expecting that are maybe bigger, you'll see later on in the full build or in the beta, but maybe not specifically for the Alpha, but I'm sure they are coming. Now, they have a whole section here on bleeds, blaze, and more. Basically, what they're saying from a bleed perspective is that it's going to now correctly show the number of active bleeds. And there is a 10 bleed maximum. And then for bosses, uh, the bleeds, blade, and acid were dealing 100% damage to bosses when they were actually intended to only deal 25%. So they fixed that back to what it was supposed to be. Our next section for generators, weapons, and divinity balance. So they balanced a lot of the divinity, how the divinity was generated. And here's some examples on the right. You can see that instead of uh, divinity being caused when an ally joins an attack, it's when this hero causes an ally to join an attack. So it's more centralized to what that hero is doing that generates their divinity. Not anybody who places a buff, for example. It's just when this hero places a buff for Aphrodite. And then they changed some weapons, made some weaker ones stronger, and changed some of them, like Heka, for example. So this is now at the start of battle. It converts 50% of attack into HP. So that's a big change for that weapon, obviously. Next, some of the new features. So now bleeds display, like we talked about earlier. Bleeds now correctly are removed by the following heroes, Achilles and Dracula, so they'll get the benefit of that now. They've rebalanced several weapons, like I said, divinity and ultimate generators. Now, some of the screenshots you'll see here are based on these next bullet points. They added a count to the hero roster, so you can see it up here, how many heroes you actually have, so that you know when you need to start feeding them or crunching them to make more room. They also added wave, turn, and battle time in the battle experience. You can see here, so you know what wave you're on and how many turns you've taken. They've updated the Dagonet passive, so you can see that here. It is now a 50% chance to increase turn meter by 5% when placing a debuff. Shamash is now places a shield instead of barrier. So I'll have a buff video coming out after this, but essentially barrier can stack, shield cannot. So I think they made that uh, a good balance there. And now Fafnir, that's a big one. The final boss, right? They will ignore immortal, shield barriers, and wards when after they cast 20 ultimates. And stage 151 now ends after 500 turns, and that's it. Now, I think this is a big thing because there will be some prizes and a competition with this wave, so they don't want to make it infinite. Who can run their computer, run the game for 9 hours straight with an unkillable team? They're cutting it off at 500 total turns. Also, some economy updates. They're increasing the drop rates of epic heroes in stage 60 and 120. Armor drop rates are better quality at stage 60, and they're guaranteed epics and legendary heroes at stages 20 and 30 have been updated. So I'm sure they're just mixing up the pool a little bit. And then this is another big one for anyone who is in stage 1 or 2. Eternal only alchemy stones can be farmed at stage 125. So these are hard to get, and you couldn't just get them by themselves. So that was a big issue. And I think something that will be a lot better for the quality of life. They've also done a lot of bug fixes, including hero AI behavior. Armor set bonuses are starting to work. Shield and barrier generating at quantities greater than designed has been an issue that they fixed. So I know someone in the comments in one of my other videos said that, was it bugged? It looks like it was, and it looks like it's fixed. And then, of course, with this being in the competition wave, they've fixed several issues with the leaderboard, so we know exactly where we stand as we push forward for Alpha 3, Wave 3. All right. I know this is going to be over 5 minutes. I apologize, but I want to make sure we get to every important detail of these patch notes. So we're going to do a quick summary of all the most important things, at least in my opinion. So Fafnir will be stronger, higher stats. They'll ignore Immortal Shield, Barrier, and Ward after they've done 20 ultimates. Stage 151 will have a cap of 500 total turns. That's your team and Fafnir. There's some quality and life improvements with hero, wave, and turn counters and a battle timer. There's better balanced drop rates overall. Eternal Alchemy Stones only at stage 125, so you can farm 125 for those Alchemy Stones. For those Eternal ones, dots or damage over times are going to do the intended damage on bosses. Dagonet's passive has changed, and rebalancing has happened to weapons and divinity generators. All right, that is everything. Hopefully, this helps you jump right into Wave 3. If you like this kind of content, please go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to have videos about buffs and debuffs and the basics of combat coming soon. Until then, hopefully, this video helps you play smarter, not longer.